Hey Golden Rams, it's Dr. Caitlin Castique from the Counseling Center coming back on today to talk to you a little bit about some more skills that you might be able to use during this tough time. A quick reminder, last time I came on I talked to you about the distress tolerance skills. If you remember that when we try to tolerate distress, we're not necessarily aiming to feel good, we're aiming to just survive the tough time that we're going through so that we don't end up doing something to make it worse for ourselves or just kind of sit in our misery. So I want you to keep that in mind as I talk through the skill that I'm going to teach you today, that the goal isn't necessarily to feel good and great, but to help us to survive the moment without making it worse. So the skill I'm going to talk to you about is another acronym. It is called ACCEPTS, ACCEPTS. This skill is all about finding ways that we can distract ourselves so that the moment that we're in feels a little bit less painful. Now, there's a difference between distraction and avoidance. When we distract, we are being skillful about turning our mind away from the thing that's getting us all fired up so that we can have some distance and get a break and maybe settle down our emotional intensity a little bit. Avoidance, on the other hand, is done in a way that's more chronic and there's no intention of going back to the problem. When we distract, it's temporary. We have the intention of going back to the problem at some point and trying to solve it. So let's walk through this acronym together. The A in ACCEPTS stands for activities. This is all about doing something. Find something that grabs your attention. Read a book, do a puzzle, call a friend, bake something, practice your instrument, watch a TV show. You want it to be something that grabs your attention and that can be accessed pretty quickly and easily in different settings. The first C in ACCEPTS stands for contributing. This is really about focusing on other people or doing something nice for someone. It's really hard to keep a focus on our own problems when we're focused on other people. So you can contribute to other people in grand ways by volunteering at a hospital or a soup kitchen, cleaning out your closet and donating clothes, or in small ways, writing a letter, sending a text message, even holding a door for somebody. The second C in ACCEPTS stands for comparisons. And there's a caveat with this skill because for some people it works really well and for others it requires a little bit more creativity. So comparisons is all about comparing yourself in a way that makes you feel good. So putting yourself in a favorable light. This might mean watching the news about people who are coping less well than you, thinking about a time that you yourself were coping less well, comparing yourself to others who might be struggling. Or it also might be comparing yourself to someone who is coping better than you, as long as that comparison motivates you. If you're comparing yourself in a negative light, we really want to veer away from this skill because it's just going to make us feel worse. The E in ACCEPTS is all about emotions. We want to create different emotions. So how many of us, when we're sad, lay in bed listening to sad music? Or when we're angry, we think about all the things that person did in the past that really ticked us off? I see you. That might not be effective, especially if the emotion is so overwhelming and leading us to potentially act impulsively. So we want to do something that creates a different emotion. Watching stand-up comedy, getting active if you're feeling lazy or sad. Think about the things that can prompt a different emotion. The P in ACCEPTS is about pushing away. So when we're in a crisis situation, focusing on the thing that is upsetting us probably isn't helpful. Instead, we want to temporarily pretend as if the problem doesn't exist. Create imagery, imagining yourself putting it in a box, putting it in a shelf, putting it away, maybe even write it down and burn it or throw it in the trash, rip it up. Do something that allows you to temporarily feel as if the problem no longer exists. The T in ACCEPTS is about thoughts. We want to prompt different thoughts. So again, when we're in a crisis situation, focusing on the thing that's upsetting us, probably not so effective. So do something that gets your brain engaged and thinking differently. Maybe that means doing a crossword puzzle, reading a book, learning a new language, singing the lyrics of your favorite song really loud. That activates the part of the brain that requires just a bit of thinking so that we're not so easily pulled back to think about the thing that's upsetting us. And last but not least, the S. Our emotions are made up of a bunch of different physical sensations, and if we want to change an emotion, we can do that by changing our sensations. So think about what sensations make up the emotion that you're feeling and you want to change, and do something to prompt other very intense sensations. You don't want to do this in a way that causes harm or hurts yourself, but you do want it to be intense. That might mean holding ice, eating some hot sauce, sucking on lemon heads, taking a hot shower, anything that can be really intense but is different than what you're already feeling. And there you have it. That's the accept skill. Let's quickly review. The A stands for activities. The first C stands for contributing. The second C, comparisons. E, with other emotions. P, temporarily pushing away. T, with other thoughts. And S, with other intense sensations. That's it. I encourage you over this next week to give it a try. Take care.